this amazes me because every year Christians display their level of ignorance. American Christians, I should say. American Christians display their level of ignorance uh, in not realizing how isolated they are in their mindset and not realizing that the world doesn't revolve around them. To better explain what you just saw, take a look at this.
Symbols are a language that can help us understand our past. As the saying goes, a picture says 1,000 words, but which words? Interpret for me, please, this symbol, first thing that comes to mind, anybody.
Hatred, racism.
Ku Klux Klan.
Yes, interesting. But they would disagree with you in Spain. There they are, robes worn by priests. Now,
I'm not going to lie. When I was, I had to check my phone. When I was 19, 20 years old and I went to Spain, and I was there in Barcelona for Christmas and I saw the pointed hoods. Yes, it was startling to say the least. But at least at 20 years old, I had the forethought to ask questions, to ask the people in Spain, what does this mean to you? Of course, the comments on the people with the robes on doing their little dance, which I thought had a nice beat to it. There were comments about, oh, the KKK, oh, this is horrible, this is hatred, I would be running, and, mainly from, black people and white people in America. Many people came on there to laugh at the American comments because Americans seem to think that the world revolves around them. But in truth, this is a ritual in Spain where the priests who are wearing the hood, or some of the the participants who are wearing the hoods who are not priests, they wear this because it is a representation of how they have sinned and they are ashamed of their sins and they're paying penance for their sins. And so they wear this white hood. This is a Catholic thing. And even though the KKK is very anti-Catholic, this is something that the KKK adopted from them, not something that they are representing the KKK. But what it displays oftentimes is how ignorant people can be within these religions, that they will see something that is relatable to them based on their American ideas or whatever country they're from, and then run that as a worldwide thought process as if that's the thing, and it's not the thing. This is how the mind of people work when it comes to religion. You have a little Middle Eastern religion that was started 2,000 years ago. It had a forefather that started about 1,300, 1,400 years prior to that. They brought that religion from a Canaanite religion that was a few centuries older than them, who got their religions from the Sumerians and Akkadians a few thousand years before them. But in each iteration, they changed the religion. So if a Christian was truly worshiping the origin of what they are believing today, they would have to go all the way back to Mesopotamia, all the way back to the Sumerians, all the way back to the Akkadians. They will be worshiping Enlil and Enki, and they will recognize that their El was Enlil, and that Yahweh was a storm deity who was born from El and Asherah. And later on, the Jews took Yahweh, made him the primary God, and then embodied him as El in the around the 4th to 3rd century BCE, and then he becomes this all-powerful, all-wielding God. And then the creation of Jesus becomes the son of this God, but not from Asherah, but from his Holy Spirit imbibing into a young little girl in the same way that Zeus did in order to have Hercules and many other children. If people actually did research and study, then they would see that their current ideas of what Christianity is, what religion is, and where it comes from, they would literally have to walk away from it. Because there's absolutely no way you can separate the fact that Yahweh was a Canaanite deity. The Shashu people worship Yahweh as a Canaanite deity. The Moabites worship Yahweh as a Canaanite deity. He was a deity that was a storm god. This is why when you look at this religion and look at the Old Testament, what you will see is that Yahweh was always the one who was arrogant, and mean, and narcissistic, and genocidal, and slave running. But when they used the name El for Elyon, for instance, El was the more benevolent God, the Enlil version of the God, even though in the Akkadian Sumerian, Enlil also was an asshole, but Enlil was the more benevolent God. So this is why you see the um, different polarizations of this God, his personality within your Old Testament. But Christians don't research. In the same way they didn't research to see why are the Spanish people wearing these hoods that are similar to what we've seen in American history, KKK. Why are they wearing it? Does it have the same representation? And it absolutely does not have the same representation. If they did research that, they would not have written their comments. And in the same way, if Christians actually research their Bible, like many of you who have decided to walk away from it, this is why we walked away, because we did the research, we read the stories, we compared, we contrasted, we critically thought through every aspect of it in order for us to make this very arduous decision to walk away from this religion, especially when you were born and raised into it. So I hope that this is a video that makes you say, let me dig deeper in what I think and what I believe. Let me go into what reality is and not just what I emotionally want things to be. So always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.